Hello, and today we're playing NeveN. We're going to be playing, we're going to be starting chapter 5 now for Akhet's route. And we're going to meet Tess and figure out who Tess is. I'm Tess, and there's so much we need to talk about. Tess, like the God? No, that's impossible. I refuse to believe that I have a God in front of me. You can't be a God. The stranger looks into my eyes, and for a brief moment, I'm filled with doubt. There is something in this hyena's gaze, something unique and ancient, something terrifying. No, I'm not a God, no more than you are. I'm simply bear his brand, and at least as far as our little gathering is concerned, his name. The brand of Tess, but that's impossible. Really? Did you honestly think you were the only one to bear the brand of a forgetful one? Did you think you were unique? What? No, but I thought, I don't know. That still doesn't explain how I got here or what I'm doing here. I'll try to clear things up. Do you know who Tess is? The god of death? And that's exactly where the mortals are wrong. Death is one of his aspects. I tend to think of that. Like NeveN, he's the god of what could have been. However, while NeveN represents the possibility of a better life and the many choices open to us, Tess embodies shattered hopes and abandoned dreams. That's why you think he's the god of death. The end of our life is the story. The end of life is the end of the story. Tess is the one who picks up the shredded pages of our existences. He is the one who remembers them. I read a note of resentment in the stranger's voice as he utters these last words. Now it does explain what I'm doing here. We're in your dream, and mine, but also in the dreams of the other 10 chosen ones. Our lives are intertwined by a common destiny, even if you don't know it yet. The other 10? I don't understand a word, but if you brought me here, that means you can send me home right now. Calm down, NeveN. You wouldn't want to miss the little fairy reunion, if I can put it that way. I don't give a fuck about. Tess plunges his gaze into mine, and for a moment I'm petrified. I feel as if my life is flashing before me as I relive every moment I narrowly escaped death. At this time, rather than escaping it, I perish as if each death was real, over and over again, until I found myself on my knees in front of the hyena, drips in sweat and panting as terror grips my body. There's no reason to be vulgar. I wanted to see you alone before summoning the others. Your god so rarely chooses an avatar. You're always unique. I can't manage to react right away. My whole mind is still paralyzed by what I've just experienced. It's only when my shaking starts that I realize the full extent of what he just said. An avatar? I thought I was the first to be branded by NeveN. Oh, I'm afraid that's not the case. There have been very few throughout history, but you're certainly not the first. We'd have heard of them. The others have been more discreet than you, and they all had fairly short lives. Why? Am I risking anything? It's best to wait until everyone's here before discussing it. You mentioned the others several times now. Who exactly are they, and why are we here? I'm talking about the 12, those branded by the gods in a unique way. The avatars. That word again, I still have no idea what it means exactly, but I suspect it's probably nothing good, especially based on what he said about other people's lifespans. I glance around again as my eyes land on the 10 unoccupied seats, one for each god, huh? A clap of hands brings me back to reality. Good. How about we get everyone in? With a smile, Tess activates his brain. The bluish light then forms a skeleton that is visible through his clothes. Damn, it's really over his entire body. What exactly is he capable of? Before I have time to wonder further, shadows start to take shape on the various empty seats. These shadows slowly turn into anthropins, but they are obscure, indefinite, mere silhouettes before my bemused eyes. Apart from their species, there is nothing to tell me who they are, nothing except their brand, gigantic and glowing on their bodies. Arakar, Gawain, Tessa, Huey, they're all here, and on the seat to my left, on the body of what is pretty clearly a lizard, Argon, a leathery brand that covers the back of the silhouette and then continues on its tail. A brand I know very well. Tanakh? Anyway, what's going on? I don't even know what to say to him. I hardly know any more than he does. However, before I have time to think, a voice echoes across the room. Mahi, Alanat, Hadali, Kahaf. Mapi Kakakan, Nikanam Kapi Katani, Anichu, Wasium, Tita Moody. Who are you? Where's my crew? A deafening cacophony ensues, forcing me to lower my ears. Everyone is trying to speak at the same time, desperate to understand what's going on. I do try to exchange a few words with Tanakh, but I can barely hear him over the voices echoing against the ceiling of the cave. Everyone looks as lost as I am. Everyone except Tess and his neighbor, who seems to be some kind of sheep whose brand I don't recognize. She has a series of intertwined curls and lines on her head, which then runs down her arms. She's Manasseh, or Keluthan's chosen, I presume. It's reassuring, in a way, to hear panic, anger, or incomprehension in other people's voices. It shows me I'm not alone. Enough. The silence comes instantly. It's not so much that we stay quiet, but rather that we are unable to speak. A shiver of terror runs through me as I feel my head swivel on its own and my eyes land on Tess, who is sitting in his chair with an absolutely deadpan expression. Manasseh, my dear, can you make sure everyone understands each other? The Erie next to him tilts her head to one side for a moment before activating her brain. Then the lines of her skull starts to move slowly. It's been a long time. Why bring us here? There are 12 of us again. Really? I suppose that deserves a gathering. By which do you leave me out of your little games, Tess? Come on. You know I'm just here to explain the rules. What they decide to do with the situation is up to them. If you say so, done. They'll understand you. Thank you. A brief silence follows, and I realize that I can move my head again. Talking seems forbidden, though. Good. Let's calm down. You've had time to panic. Now try to do something useful to get yourself out of this and figure out what's going on. Not that there's much I can do in my situation. I'm still unable to get up from the seat and talk, so the best thing to do right now is probably to observe as much as I can what's going on, and to use my memory for something other than memorizing songs this time. The most urgent thing is probably to try and identify the other. What was the word he used to refer to our group avatars? To my left, I've already spotted Tanakh, so I glance over his shoulder to see who sit up next to him. Not that that's necessary. The one right next to him is simply massive, and he happens to be Erica's brand. He's an orca, I believe. It's hard to be absolutely sure just by looking at his silhouette. The next seat is occupied by a feline, a panther, or perhaps a jaguar. The brambles, typical of Mariani's brand wrap around her arms and legs before meeting on her torso to blossom to a flower. Next comes Huey's avatar. Almost ironically, he too is a lizard with a brand almost identical to the knots, except that its triangle is the other way around. I have the faintest idea what the Anthrokin sitting next to him is, but I can easily identify the brand of Gawain. The rest she looks like some kind of reptile, but she's clearly not a lizard, and she's got something covering her back. Fortunately, the next one is much easier to recognize. He's a bird of prey, probably an eagle, and he bears the brand of Tesso. Lastra and Illyria's carriers are side by side, both canines, a fox for one, and I think the other is some kind of dog or hyena. That leaves Calithan. When my gaze falls on his seat, only Tess's brand prevents me from uttering a yelp of surprise. How did I not notice this before? I can't be. It's not an Anthrokin that bears the brand of the god of the hunt. It's an animal, a mere stoat, lying uncomfortably on the seat with two half circles intertwined on its chest. It doesn't make any sense. An animal can't bear a brand. They provide us with the consciousness that makes us Anthrokins. An animal with a brand is simply unheard of. In the midst of everything else, it should probably be a minor consideration, but I just can't seem to get past it. How can an animal bear a brand? How is it capable of? And what is it capable of and what? First of all, I must apologize for the way in which you have arrived here. It was in no way my intention to frighten you. My name is Tess, avatar and bearer of his brand. I advise you to use only the names of your gods as well, as you will soon realize a bit of anonymity is always advisable. I brought us together because we all share something in common, a bond that unites us and promises us a greater destiny. We are not mere Anthrokins, we are more, much more. What he's talking about? More than Anthrokins? That's not the impression I'm getting at the moment. What is this bullshit? The voice of the bearer of the brown light echoes across the room. It seems that Tess has given us back our voices. More than Anthrokins, the only ones who categorize people like that are those fucking birds. Hey, what? Did I hurt you? Good. I don't think this is the best time to fight. I agree with my fellow countrymen. While your argument may undoubtedly prove entertaining for the time being, I would prefer to know exactly what test means. Everyone then turns back to the hyena. He is still sporting his impassive expression. Thank you, Argon. I'm obviously not talking in terms of social status. I don't care about that. I'm talking about abilities, power. No doubt that you have noticed that your brands are unique, more powerful even than those of similar size. The magic in your veins. It's almost as if you were constantly under the effect of an inkstone. That's because you've been selected, chosen. If you want to use that term by your gods to represent them on Telsun, you have a direct connection with them. You are their representatives, their avatars. Interesting, so I'm much better than him after all. I've always known I was chosen by the gods, little one. You're not teaching me anything new. All eyes turn briefly to her, but I'm more interested in Tanak's reaction next to me. Shit. Tanak? Not now, and don't use my name. But I have to understand what's going on here. It's important. Let me focus. He's right, this isn't the time to get lost in idle chatter, so I better stay quiet. I still don't know exactly why Tess brought us here, or why he's telling us all this information. I've got dozens of questions on my mind. One of them, though, is more prevalent than the others. Why me? Why us? I never asked for these powers. Because the gods saw something interesting in you, your strength, your intelligence, your status in society. His gaze then meets mine, your ability to get into trouble. Something that intrigues, excites, or amuses them. that gods can be benevolent as well as ruthless after all. That's all nice and dandy, but in my experience, nothing positive comes without serious problems. So what's the catch? The side effects are powers, I suppose. That's right, mortal bodies are not designed to withstand such power. The price we pay is a way of getting around this problem. It allows us to reach our full potential. There's another aspect, however, that you are probably unaware of, another ability that is unique to us. We can, as avatars, naturally increase the strength of our brand. We can become even more powerful. What? How? There's imperiousness in Lastra's voice to such an extent that his question sounds more like an order. As for me, I don't know what I'm already able to do frustrates me at times, and I'm still learning the basis of my power. Only the gods know what I'll be able to do once I master my brand. So increasing it straight further, even knowing how, is that really something I want? Oh, it's quite simple, really. If you kill another avatar, your brand will absorb the power of his increased size. No, are we meant to kill each other? That's out of the question. I'm not even sure I want my brand, so I certainly don't want to do that. But I won't necessarily have a choice, will I? If someone comes for me. A terrifying thought crosses my mind. They don't have to come. One of them is already here. My gaze slides briefly to Janat. If he tries anything, will I be able to? Now, calm down. He would never do that, not only because he's your friend, but also because it would cause far too many problems between Frostfang and Kazal. I'm a royal bard. That gives me some protection. A royal bard of Frostfang. The appearance of my brand is what propelled me to my position in a very public way. Everyone knows who I am, where I am, how to reach me. I'm the only one here who isn't anonymous. This is horrible. Nobody would want to do that. You're fucking naive if you believe that. If one of you wants to try their luck against me, then come to the northern sea of Frostfang. It's been a long time since I had a real challenge. We don't have to fight, do we? It's just a possibility. Unlike the others, there's no anger or concern in his voice, just curiosity. What you decide to do with this information is up to you. There's no other rule, no other explanation to give. The choice is yours. Is that it? There's no great goal to achieve, no special destiny, no reward if I kill them all. What's the point? As far as you're concerned, that's all. But there is indeed important to this little game. These rules are in place for a reason. It's quite simple. You're here to put on a show. The gods and I share that goal. I want to see what you'll do, find out how you'll react. And so, you're talking about our lives, our choices, maybe the deaths of several people. It's not just a performance prepared in advance for the enjoyment of the audience. But you're right about that. It's much better than a performance. Seeing Africans trying to survive, fighting with all their might, trying to make the right choices is infinitely more entertaining than any scripted play. I'll be watching your every move carefully, and I expect great things from you. If you don't like it, well, I'm not hard to find if you really want to hunt me down. But you should know that I'm not easy to stop, and I tend to enjoy this show until the end. The bright test shines even brighter. For a brief moment I don't notice anything, and then I see them. Behind each of the other avatars I see what looks like a pale silhouette, hard to see or recognize, and several ones through me as I feel something rush the back of my neck. Do I have one of them behind me too? Eric, no, that's impossible. You can't be here. You're not here. You're dead. Stop it. Disappear. Whatever the fuck you're doing, you stop it right now. Otherwise, I swear I'll claw your eyes out and make you swallow them. I think my message got through. The silver on the back of my neck disappears and I breathe again. I didn't even realize I stopped. It's been 7 years since I last heard that voice, 7 years since my grandfather died. To hear him again, especially if it was different. There was something muffled about it, a bit like it was coming from behind a wall. So this is the power of the brand of Tess. Impressive. I raised my head to look at the others. Most of them also seem to be in shock at what happened. Hilary is the most affected. He pulls his knees up and is now hugging them to his chest. By the gods, is he a child? Illyria's body, in contrast, is expressively a radically different emotion. It's pure, unadulterated rage. You let her stay where she is. Don't you dare use her again for your filthy tricks. You're not going to make things any better by getting angry like that. What the fuck do you care? Because you're making a spectacle of yourself. The implication is not complicated to understand. He gives Tess what he wants. Illyria seems to get the idea and goes silent again. If I may, NeveN, if Harry looks young to me, this one is barely a kid. There's no way he's over 20 with a voice like that. As Tess pointed out, we don't have to fight each other, do we? I have another suggestion. I am the Wither Ayman of Akhet, and I am currently in Kadir, our capital. Are we there? If I remember correctly, what Akhet told me, they are the heirs to the throne of Akhet. This Ayman is someone important. The fool. To know Argon? I think I know what he's going to say, and it'll never work. And truly, I focus my attention back on the bird, which everyone else seems to be doing. Our powers allow each of us to accomplish far more than anyone else could ever hope to do. So just imagine what we could do if we worked together. Join me in my domain in the capital. Once there, together we can plan how to use our powers to best help others around us. A pause follows his statement, a silence in which I could recognize surprise and disbelief. I have to admit that, well, it sounds very naive, working together, hand in hand, with so many people from so many different places. And on top of that, with Anthrokins who have a reason to stab you in the back, literally, even I don't believe that for a second. And it looks like I'm not the only one. I've had to escape quite a few traps, and I've even set a few myself, but this has got to be one of the most blatant I've ever seen. If you mean what you say, kid, I don't give a few hours before you find yourself slaughtered in your own house. But did you really think we were going to trust a fucking Rather? I just want to. Rather, I think it would be best if you kept your mouth shut for the time being. I admire your noble intentions, but I fear this is not the right audience. Not to mention that even if you are sincere, what do I care about the good of others? Boy, I can't let him be bullied like that. Even his proposal isn't the most informed. It's not a bad idea. We don't have to fight each other, and we don't have to cooperate either. My brand makes life difficult enough without a fight to the death between the gods' chosen ones. I certainly don't need more power. A detail from Tess's explanations come to mind that might convince a few people. Not to mention the fact that if the side effects of our brands are indeed due to the fact that our bodies can't withstand their power, will that be even more of a problem if we gain more power? If that's the price I have to pay, no, I don't want that. I don't care. My power only exists to protect the Akhet. Nothing else. As long as you leave my people alone, I have no reason to fight you, nor to help you. That seems to be the end of the conversation. So what? None of us are prepared to kill the others. Is that it? Lastra, at least, is clearly not against the idea. As for the others, how can I find out? How do I know that anything that comes from them is true? And how do I know they're not playing a part, pretending to be someone else? For fuck's sake, my gaze settles on Celestine. The weasel is now curled up in its seat, apparently asleep. Does it have any idea what's going on? Is it even able to understand what is being said? It's just an animal. It doesn't deserve this. No more than the two kids who got those brands. No more than I do. It looks like our time is running out. Some of you are starting to wake up. The next time you cross paths will be in the awakened world. I have no doubt that your meetings will make great stories. So get stronger to survive and fight. Chess will be delighted to pick up the fragments of your existences. After a flash of light, I suddenly find myself lying in bed and gasping for air. What the fuck was that? Was it a dream? No, it was far too real, too tangible. The expression on Tess's face suddenly comes to mind, the way he managed to terrify me by simply laying his eyes on me. There's no way of making that up. But if everything I've seen is real, if none of it is an invention of my imagination, that means I'm in danger. And not just a little. Everyone knows where I am, and everyone knows that I only recently got my brand. They know I haven't mastered it. If any of them want to increase their power, I'm the obvious target. Now, stop. Think for a moment. Sure, I'm probably one of the least experienced avatars, but I'm also at the heart of First Fang. Which means I'm protected by Aeon, Lust, Mabion, and the rest, and a whole bunch of other warriors, each more powerful than the last. Even if the opponent's brand is stronger, they'll still manage to win. Right? The fight between Gilliant and Tanakh comes to mind. Even if he didn't win, the lizard gave the captain a hard time, and he wasn't trying to kill him, just to defeat him, which is probably more difficult. The question is, could we defeat another avatar? And do I want to put everyone in danger for my safety? Despite everything that's happened, most people here have treated me well. Is it really fair to put them in harm's way? And is it right to put Akhet in peril? My heart sinks at the thought. If only just found someone who makes me happy again, and I suddenly don't want to cause him any pain. Maybe I should just leave. Run away from everything. Maybe I should abandon the castle and take to the roads, and not be alone again for their sake, so as not to put them in trouble. What is certain is that, in doing so, I will lose everything I have here, and I will be betraying their trust. I'll break Akhet's heart. Is that really what I want? As I leave my room, I take a few seconds to think and refocus. I can't just barge into the royal bedroom in the middle of the night and hope they'll let me through. Royal board or not, I don't have access to the private quarters of the kings just like that. But Tanakh might be able to help me, especially since he was there too. He's involved in the whole thing. And he probably doesn't want to end in a bloodbath any more than I do. Well, I suppose I hope so. I climb the stairs to the floor as quick as I can, and it takes me only an instant to find myself outside the ambassador's room. At first I think about banging on his door, before realizing that for the time being it's probably best if as few people as possible know what's going on. So I knock as quietly as I can. I don't doubt for a second that he's already awake anyway. The door opens almost immediately. I find myself facing Tanakh, who is giving me a concerned and possibly slightly annoyed look. But he is most definitely not surprised. Eric, shit. I know exactly what he means. The fact that I'm here in front of his door is confirmation that the dream was more than a dream. This is all real. We need to tell Aeon and Luz. We need to explain to them what's going on. Alright. Tanakh seems to hesitate for a moment, and the reality of the situation abruptly dawns on me. Friendly as he is first and foremost a Khazarian. His country probably takes priority over any other concern. I can't even imagine what he's thinking right now. Will he be able to kill me? He seems to be making up his mind quickly, though. Yes, you're right. We must go. The sooner the better. He begins to make his way down the corridor towards the royal way, obviously expecting me to follow him. We don't hide anything from them. We say absolutely everything there is to say, everything you remember, down to the smallest detail. Is that going to cause you problems? What do you mean? With the Empire? He takes a second to think before smiling at me. We have been working for years to create a lasting alliance between our two countries. Is it high time we made it official? Why now? Haven't you noticed? What are you talking about? The avatars, I think a fair few of them are from Akhet. The salt stops me in my tracks for a brief moment. If Akhet has control of the majority of the avatars, it could radically change the balance of power, which makes me realize why we have to conclude an alliance as soon as possible. As we reach the entrance of the Royal Wing, I see the two guards guarding the main entrance, a wolf and a bull. They give us a surprised look before blocking us both. Lord Tanakh, Lord Eric, what a surprise to see you here so late. I request an audience with their majesties. I take note, my lord. The kings will be notified when they awaken. I fear we have no time to wait until then. I cannot wait their majesties unless it is an emergency. Good, because this is an emergency. In that case, you'll have to explain to me the reasons for it. Oh boy, Argan. Listen, you've got a choice. Either you go and warn Aeon and Lust now, or you explain to them why they had to wait all night to get a vital piece of information. Lord Tanakh, please understand that I'd do what they asked if I were you. I doubt they'd be here at this hour. Be here. Reason. How are you going to live through here? Oh, yeah. Poof. I feel we have no time to wait until then. I cannot wait their majesties unless this is an emergency. Good, because this is an emergency. In that case, you'll have to explain to me the reason for it. Or by Argon. Listen, you got a choice. Either you go and warn Aeon and Lust now, or you explain to them why they had to wait all night to get a vital piece of information. Lord Tanakh, please understand that I do what they ask if I were you. I doubt they'd be here this hour without a good reason. We turn to look at Maybion, who is staring at us quizzically. You were loud, it woke me up. But come, go and tell my fathers that we are waiting for them in the council chambers. Very well, Lord Maybion. The bull salutes the prince before disappearing into the corridor behind him, leaving the wolf as the only guard as we make our way to the council chamber. Do you mind if I ask what's going on? It will be easier to explain once everyone is here. Hope is really important. It is, I promise. The bear gives me a sidelong glance before quickly inspecting me from top to bottom. Are you okay? You look a bit shaken up. It's complicated. You'll understand better once we explain everything. Are you sure it'll be alright? Yeah, don't worry about me. The rest of the way is spent in silence until we reach the council chamber. We only have to wait there a few minutes before Aeon and Lust enter to join us. They look absolutely exhausted. This better be worth it. I know it's the middle of the night, my lord, but this is important. Tanakh's more serious tone than usual seems to make it immediately clear to them that this is in no way a joke. Explain what is going on. You have our attention. Tanakh then begins to recount our said dream. I intervene from time to time, adding details or things that I have noticed that I noticed and he didn't, as well as recounting the brief moment I spent alone with Tess. Aeon, Lust, and Maybion listen to us attentively and never interrupt us, except to ask for a clarification here or there. I can notice, however, that the expressions get increasingly somber with each new detail. As you know, I have been investigating brands with unique properties such as mine for some time now. All this is consistent with the information available to me. and you had no idea of the existence of the Avatar test until now? There are indeed tales and legends about Anthrocans who can talk to the dead or even bring them back to life, but I've always mistaken them for children's stories. And you say that most of the avatars are in Makkah's territory? Do you have a map? It would be easier. Babyon gets up to Woman's in one of the cupboards in the room. Woman's returning with a rolled up piece of parchment. He spreads it out on the central table, revealing a large map of Telson. So here's what we know for sure. The avatars of NeveN and Akhet are here, and Frostfang, nothing new there. Watson wrote down a few words on the map, the name of each god, I suppose. Oh, we also know that Teso is in Kadir. He gave us his name while all this was happening. It was the Wazir Amen, I believe. Amen, I know him, or at least I've heard of him. Is he going to be a problem? It's hard to say. He's well on his way to be the next God King, given the size of his brand, but his ideas aren't really popular among the major Makkadian families. He wants to soften the rules about slavery. And on top of that, he's practically a child. He's only just turned 18. Shit. Suspected he was young, but still, that explains why he acted the way he did, I guess. Are there others whose allegiance we are certain of? Anyway, he's in Ixa at the moment. I have met him before when I was trying to understand the strangeness of our marks. He's also under 20 and not at all a fighter, but he will do what is asked of him. Mariani is also in Kazal, but she is part of the Free Tribe. She will only act if her people are directly threatened. They don't care about the rest of the world. As for the avatar of Awaka, we know about him already. He's an independent pirate, isn't he? We can try to buy his services. He obeys just for money. Maybe other arrangements can also be offered if necessary, but we're not there yet. For now, we need to make sure we know everyone's loyalties. Regarding the others, I'm convinced that Illyria, Gawain, and Lastra are in Makkad. I don't know exactly what their role is, but I think they live there. And how would you know that? I know that the incident that coincides with the appearance of the brand of Lastra happened in the Makkadian desert. Oh, we heard Illyria's avatar talking. We didn't understand what he was saying, but I've heard Akhet speak often enough to recognize the Makkadian language. As for Gawain, she's an armadillo. A what? A sort of rat with a cell, if you like. I've never seen this species. You only come across them in Makkad or south of Kazal. From the way she spoke to the weather, I think she's used to addressing them appropriately, which means she's probably a slave. That would make 4 avatars potentially loyal to Makkad. I don't think Illyria obeys them. She seems to hate them. If he's a slave, whether he hates them or not won't make much of a difference. He'll have to obey anyway. Any other information, even the smallest detail, can be useful to us. Tess spoke to me in Farsian when we were alone, but he made it quite clear that he didn't intend to intervene directly. Oh, and Manasa spoke it too. Boy, Tess spoke to me in Farsian when we were alone, but he made it quite clear that he didn't intend to intervene directly. Oh, and Manasa spoke it too, before she made sure we could all understand each other. So potentially 2 uncontrolled avatars in our territory. Do you think they could be on our side? I wouldn't count on it. They both seem keen to stay out of this. And what about the last of the forgetful ones? Kelithan. Tanaka and I glanced at each other briefly. It's a bit complicated. It's an animal. I don't even know if it understood what was happening. I have no information on that. It went completely unnoticed, and I don't expect you to know anything about it either. A brief moment of silence falls over the room as we look at each other. There's a bit of confusion in their eyes, but eventually we go back to the map. It's more than obvious from the notes that Makkad controls far more avatars than either Frostfang or Gazal? Tonight, I need an honest answer. Is what you sold us during your fight with Gillant the best you can do? The lizard seems to think for a moment as he sighs. It's the best I can do if I don't want to kill my opponent. If his survival is not at stake, no, I can do far more damage than that. Shit. It's going to make a lot of things a lot worse. Not in the midst of the day, all know where to find me. All eyes are on me now. Everyone must know about my brand by now, and that makes me a prime target, especially if they suspect I haven't had time to practice using my powers. A question suddenly haunts me, a question I was hoping I'd never have to ask myself again. Does this change anything about how I'm going to live? Eon and Lust exchange a few glances before the bear turns to me with a smile. No, I don't think that's necessary right now. We're not going to do anything about the situation. I didn't say that. We'll double the security around him. I think that the best thing to do is to keep a low profile for now. To hide our royal bard after revealing him as openly as yesterday would seem strange. But it's risky, isn't it? After all, it could be anyone. Not really. Most of them are species that we rarely see here, so it'll be easy to spot them. Not to mention that they still have to get here in the first place. They also know you're not alone. To attack you is to attack Frostfang, and even though we're not avatars, they know they'll have to deal with Lust and I. It gives me a big comforted smell. I agree. It's probably best not to say anything to anyone and act as if nothing's happened for the time being. Not a word, not even to Akhet. What? But not yet. Anyway, we need to know exactly how to present this, okay? I don't like it, but alright. I won't say anything. Perfect in that case. If I may, Your Majesties, I think there's another subject we should discuss. Given the supposedly large presence of avatars in Akhet, I think it's high time we finalize our alliance. I know that the middle of the night is not necessarily the most appropriate time, but you wish to warn the Emperor as soon as possible, and you want to inform him of the existence of the avatars. Exactly. Let's folds the map carefully while Mayborn gives me another worried look. What? I've got stuff on my face? You look exhausted, Eric. It would be better for you if you went back to sleep. I can stay a little longer. I want to help. I know, but we don't need you for anything else. It's going to be mostly discussions about trade agreements and other administrative details. I'm afraid that's not your specialty. What's more, even if you're no longer at the heart of the action, it would be good if you sold up tomorrow. Make yourself popular with the people, sing in the streets, and put on a show for them. It'll be better if you're in good shape. Okay, well, then, thank you, my kings, and good luck getting through the rest of this night. They greet me briefly before bending down to chat over a set of papers that Lust brings back with him. As for me, I walk out of the council chamber before heading into my room with my mind empty on all thoughts. I don't even know what to think. I'm just lost. I feel like everything's out of my control. Alliances, wars, the fate of entire nations is unfolding before my eyes, and I don't know what to do about it. This is the exact opposite of what I wanted. But this is where I am, and I've decided to stay here. So I have to learn. Eventually, I'm going to find out how to deal with these problems, but not tonight. Tonight I just want to settle down for a bit. Almost automatically, I knock on Akhet's door. After a little while, he opens it for me, half asleep. Eric? Hey, sorry to wake you. I'm having trouble sleeping. Do you mind if I come in? It's just a sleep, I promise. Yeah, sure, come on in. I give him a quick smile as I grab his talon as he guides me to his room. The number went off in a hurry. His valet shouted in a worry. Oh my lord, please now. The trousers are too low. I finish the wine with a bow, then I stick out my tongue, and the group of children gathered before me. As a reward, I get a round of laughter and applause. I've always enjoyed singing for kids. They don't hide how they feel. You can tell straight away whether they like you or not. Akhet and I have been enjoying the crowded streets of the capital since this morning. The festival has attracted quite a few traders and street performers. It really is a pleasure to be able to wander the streets of the capital for once. And when I saw a small stage set up and open to anyone who wanted to perform there, I couldn't resist. During the presence of sweet sellers and toy makers in the vicinity, the choice of a children's song quickly became obvious. Amidst the applause, however, I hear a few complaints. Some children being dragged away by their parents. I cast the frightened glances of the adults as I turn my attention to the crowd. I guess some things haven't changed yet. Yesterday's show probably boosted my popularity, but I'm still feeling. Eric, is everything alright? I shake myself off and reaffirm the smile on my face. There's no way I'm going to let this situation affect me. I've been asked to act like everything's fine. That's what I'm going to do. Yep, no worries. I'm just a bit tired, that's all. You still haven't told me why you couldn't sleep yesterday. It's probably due to all the excitement because of the festival. You know you can talk to me if something's wrong, right? I'll walk over to him and gently rub my muzzle against his beak. I know everything's fine, I promise. And here I am, lying to the one I love yet again. Fuck politics, fuck tests, fuck the gods. I grab Akhet's talons and pull him down off the stage and back into the heart of the crowd. Well, my little foreign prince, is there anything that would please you? Hey, don't call me that. And why not? It's cute and it suits you. Firstly, because I'm not a prince. Secondly, he gives me his big smile, clearly amused by what he's up to. Should I be suspicious? Secondly, because if anyone was to be called small in our relationship, it wouldn't be me. Alright, that fit what? You didn't dare. It certainly looked like I did. Who are you and what have you done with a sorry ball of nerves that was my companion? Perhaps love gives me courage too? Oh, like the 90. I approached him, smiling as I pressed myself up against his chest and let my hand slide up the back of his thigh, slowly working my way up his ass. I'm curious to know just how far this newfound courage could take you. I can see Akhet going through all shades of red extremely quickly. Honestly, it's impressive and a little worrying. Eric, we're in public. Relax, sweetheart, I'm kidding. I then placed a kiss on the tip of his beak before moving away. You shouldn't have played with me, Birdie. That's the kind of game I always win. I told you they were cute. Rowan and Simmy seemed to appear out of nowhere. Stranger still, the guard had several neatly tied with ribbon boxes stacked on top of each other in his arms. What is he up to again? Lady Simmy, Rowan, it is a pleasure to see you. Good morning, you two. You seem to be enjoying the festival. So far, so good. Is there a problem? Am I nothing but a harbinger of woe and sorrow to you? It would almost hurt my feelings, young man. No, it's just that usually when a royal bard comes looking for me, it's not to have a pleasant discussion. Having said that, I have to admit that a royal guard who brings me gifts is the first. Sorry, Bunny, they're not for you. They're for my lovely wife. And don't worry, it's my day off. I'm just spending some time with my dear mother-in-law. Please, Rowan, don't call me that. You make me feel even older than I already am. So this is all just a coincidence? Is it that strange? We just heard you were singing over here, so we wanted to have a look and say hi. But we're bothering you. No, I'm just surprised, that's all. Perhaps we could walk a few streets together. After all, we have nothing planned. Simon takes a moment to look Akhet up and down, quickly judging the bird with her gaze. Given our previous discussion, it's not hard to guess what he's thinking. Even if she has apologized before, her hatred of the science is still there. That sounds like an excellent idea. Come on, Gran. We got some sobbing to do. Woman, say that again, and I'll stab you. There's amusement in her voice as her attention turns from my companion. I take the opportunity to lightly squeeze Akhet's fingers in mine. There's nothing against you. She's just a former slave, and I know it's alright. Don't worry. He gently strokes my index finger with his talon as he offers me a brief, reassuring smile. We better hurry if we don't want to lose him in the crowd. We set off in pursuit of Rowan and Simi to go around the Sands Brothers' side. Fortunately, the defendant manages to contain her resentment for the rest of the afternoon, so we spin around rummaging through the various items of offer, all the while trying to restrain Rowan from buying the whole street as a gift for his wife. If there's one thing I have learned today, it's that he likes to sour her with attention. But NeveN, please don't ever let me become like that. I don't have the money for it anyway. We end up sitting on a bench, a glass of mulled wine in our hands as we watch people go by. Akhet, may I ask you a personal question? Oh, sure. I grit my teeth and with a quick glance at Rowan, I see that he does the same. If anything's about to get out of hand, it's now. Music is not usually an appropriate profession for those of your rank. May I ask where you learned to play like that? Oh, that. For a brief moment I fear that again, all this will bring up unpleasant memories of his past. However, although there is nostalgia on the Falcon's face, there is none of that fear I usually perceive when he is reminded of Akhet. A family looks after slaves who are meant to be artists, especially dancers and musicians, so we needed to know the basics too, so that we could, train him, thank you. I gently caressed his hand and he smiled slyly. Normally we learn just enough to be able to judge their work, but not to be able to play by ourselves. Thus the slaves in charge of training me, NeveN, discovered that I had talent, and that I actually enjoyed playing music. So he taught me the lute behind father's back. I don't believe he ever knew anything about it, but I think mother did. She regularly gave us time to practice. And now you're here, this NeveN. What happened to him? He ran away one day. He just disappeared. Father was furious and ordered him to be recovered, but I don't think he succeeded. I just hope he made it to a safe place and is happy now. I don't doubt it for a second. There seemed to be a brief gleam in Simi's eyes, and I wonder if she knows more than she's letting on. What about you? Did your father ever find out what you were doing? The way you talk about him, he doesn't sound like a very nice person. Akhet hesitates and raises a talon to gently caresses a nail. Now I know it's an indication that it's time for me to intervene. Hey, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, you know? I don't think they'll take it badly. I know, but he smiles at me as he gently squeezes my hand. It's like you said, this is all about who I was, not who I am today. I can't keep letting my past rule my life. Not to mention, it's what got me here in the first place, so I can't really complain. He leans his head against mine. Ooh, there. You see, they're cute. Well, this is not the time. The cat raises his head and blushes as he coughs while composing himself. Yes, father eventually found out I played the flute. At first he almost tore off my nails himself, but mother persuaded him not to, and she asked me to play only in private. And then the rumors about me started to spread. That's when my mother decided to send me away to stay with a family friend, a Wathier who lived near the northern border. When he died, I decided to leave, to come here. You know, the rest of the story. I doubt I'll be able to return home now. Father probably hates me, but in the end, it doesn't really matter to me. I haven't seen him in years, anyway, and here I'm happier than I have ever been before. Glad you like it here. Simi seems to struggle for a moment, and the cat sees it as well as I do. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not surprised Simi puts her hand on the falcon's talon, patting it gently before withdrawing it. I can't. I'm a bit like the Akkadian desert. The ruins of past existences lie beneath its sands, and they will probably remain there forever, even if we wish we could build something new on top of them. But Frostfang is the kingdom of second chances for both of us. Let's try to do our best for the realm. I can't help smiling stupidly, because my companion managed to reach Simi's heart, of course, but also for what it might signify. After all, if C can get past her quest and gets Akhet, perhaps all hope is not lost for our future. Be continued. Hello everyone. We hope you enjoyed this build. If you haven't already, don't hesitate to make other choices in this chapter. It's got a few surprises in store for you. If you want more information about NeveN, feel free to follow us on Twitter. We also have a Discord allowing you to chat among community members. Finally, if you would like to support our project, we also have a Patreon that offers you a series of benefits such as builds 2 weeks in advance, but also unique stories about the characters of NeveN. If you like the VN, please also feel free to rate us on Itch.io. It will help us a lot. Once again, a big thanks to all of you, and see you soon. So, that story Akhet gave to everyone, it certainly made Simi reevaluate her hostility towards Akhet. And she said that Frostfang was the kingdom of second chances, and that we should start something new here in this kingdom and be better people than we were in our previous lives, or like in the past. So it looks like she decided to warm up a little bit to Akhet. When Akhet told about when Akhet explained to them about that story about the slave teaching him how to sing, and that the slave knew that Akhet had a talent in him for music, and that when the slave ran away, Akhet hoped that he was somewhere where he could be free and happy. That was the turning point there that caught Simi. She really enjoyed that story, and it's because of that story, I think, that, to Simi, I guess what she's thinking is, this Akkadian might not be all that bad. And of course, he's not bad. Yes, he has a bad history. Even if it's not his fault. But again, a bunch of the characters do. Including Eric with his fiance. I don't know what he did, but apparently he believes that he hurt his fiance in some way. So anyway, got Dwayne with Eric meeting Tess, who is like an avatar for the god of death, I think. The god said that, Tess said that the Tess is not really a god of death, that it's really a god of I don't know about what the title is, but basically this god Tess likes to he's like the god of broken dreams, or what could have been. So apparently this guy has something to do with what people could have been if they chose another path. So that's what I got about it. That's what I got from that. And that Tanakh was also there. and people throughout the continent from Akhet and Phosphang and Kazal, and that if one person were to kill another, if one avatar was to kill another avatar, that avatar would gain the power of the avatar that they slain, and they would be even more powerful. But their bodies are not meant for all that power, and that could kill them in the end. So apparently, some of the other avatars that were in the dream didn't mind doing that, despite the wish. They wanted more power, and if there were a reward for killing other people, then they would do it. So also there was one of the people who could possibly inherit the throne to Akhet, who's the God King. His name is I forgot, but but anyway, he's a young 18-year-old, and he clearly is not prepared for the throne yet. Still a little bit immature, but maybe not immature, but he's not quite as knowledgeable as the older adults there. But apparently he wants peace. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's way more complicated than just wanting peace, so many conflicts around the world. But I'm happy that he wants peace and everybody to be happy, considering the fact that his society relies on slavery and the subjugation and misery of others for their economy to function. So hopefully, maybe on after the dream when they had that meeting, said that that boy, the one who was trying to become the God King, the young 18-year-old, he wants the slaves to be treated more better. But people in Akhet don't like that. The people want to keep the harsh, brutal method of controlling their slaves and training them. But he wants the slaves to be treated more humanely. So hopefully if he does become the God King, he'll put the kingdom, Akhet, on a better path. I know everything's gradual, but hopefully he'll at least begin that path towards slaves having a better future. Hopefully one day it might even be abolished, the slave system there. So apparently one of the people there, I forgot their name, but basically Armadillo, apparently she's a Akkadian slave. So you got people all different walks of life. You got people who are royalty who might become a king, or you got somebody who, like Tanakh, who could become emperor, and you got a slave in that whole group as well, and you got leaders of tribes and pirates. I think there were a pirate there. So you got people with different types of lives and different social statuses there. And that person, one of them, the slave, they really hate their lives as being a slave. They hate Akhet, but as King Lust said, even they do hate Akhet and being a slave, if they're given an order, they'll have to obey. So despite them hating Akhet, they can't guarantee that they'll go against Akhet. So about the whole Avatar stuff, Tanakh wants both Khazal and Phosphine to form an alliance because it was obvious in that dream that Akhet had more avatars than both Phosphine and Khazal put together. So Akhet could very well pose a threat to both Khazal and Phosphine. So to counter Akhet, both kingdoms will have to come together. And maybe they might have some luck in taking a few people from Akhet into their alliance, like convince a few people, maybe, but I don't think that might work. But it could work. Maybe some people might flee Akhet and join both Khazal and Phosphine. But anyway, that was chapter 5 for Akhet. So we got to learn a lot about politics and the unknown gods and the fact that Eric's an avatar. So I think some new notes here. I might see. The elect chosen are the gods, whose brands are the most powerful in our Telson. Oh, and supposedly, if we kill each other, we become more powerful. If you ask me, I was actually chosen to win a wheelbarrow full of shit. So yeah, they're like the chosen ones by their gods So the god of war. God of death, the one we all meet sooner or later. He welcomes us into his kingdom where we remain forever with the people who love us. Okay, laugh here. And the highest level in the building in Akhet, there are recognizable but the 3 nails. Okay. God of the wind. This wind is a series of lines that ends in a loop. It controls not only wind and thunder but also sound, which is why it's sought by musicians. So the young kid, the young person, the 18-year-old from Akhet who is in the succession to succeed the God King of Akhet, that's his power. And goddess of life, but really goddesses of plants. Her brand takes the form of a flower, brambles. Okay, and last one. Alright, so okay, so those are like the gods and the powers the avatars have. So thank y'all very much for watching. Goodbye.